Hello everyone, Silent here and welcome back to another Bugrock of the Week episode. Today we're going to be taking a look at a whole bunch more small but annoying bugs on the Bedrock Edition of Minecraft. These are pretty small things that are just annoying, get under your skin, and just kind of ruin the immersion while you're playing the game. None of these are super massive, none of these are actually important, some of these are just nitpicks. However, when you see them when you're playing, you're like, oh, that's annoying, and that is definitely a thing that should not be in the game. So as always with these Bugrock of the Week episodes, there will be bug report links to all the bugs mentioned down in the description of the video. If you want to help get these bugs fixed and removed from the Bedrock Edition, then of course visit those links in the description, leave an upvote on the bug report, and maybe also leave a comment on the bug report as well. That way the developers know that we care about these bugs, and hopefully they will remove them in future updates. Also, this is a follow-up episode to the previous episode of Bugrock. I show another 8 small and annoying bugs in that episode, and thank you all very much for your suggestions and feedback on that one as well. You reminded me of some other very annoying ones that I should definitely include. So the first one today is pathfinding bugs. There are so many pathfinding bugs in the recent updates. For instance, zombie pigmen, basically myself, are extremely stupid. Really, any mob will just get constantly stuck, pathfinding or walking against or jumping against bamboo. They'll get stuck, walking into each other, and like we have over here. Why are you upside down? But yeah, these two guys are just like constantly walking into each other. They'll be there forever. We also have some guys like constantly walking into doors, and honestly there's just a ton of different ways that the pathfinding is kind of broken, and they just never ever stop. I've actually made 2 entire other episodes on the pathfinding bugs on this platform. You're probably seeing a little bit of footage of that right now, but yeah, there will be links to just many different pathfinding bugs down in the description. You can see another pathfinding bug right here with the chicken, where they don't actually realize that the slab is there, so they just keep constantly jumping and trying to get over it. This is actually a really big deal because these guys are of course taking up memory from the realm or from your computer, and overall just, making the game ever so more laggy. And of course, a Bedrock Edition is all about optimization. So I don't quite have any footage of this as I wasn't able to reproduce it. However, if you go through a nether portal or really any form of portal and then your game crashes, that portal will actually like spawn you underneath the world and in the void. This has happened to Tom a ton on the Truly Bedrock realm, and it's really quite unfortunate because there's nothing you can do about it. You're just casually going to the nether, and then like the game crashes and boom, you're down in the void. You lose all of your gear. It doesn't really matter. You're just completely dead. This is kind of relative to the other bug where if you log out of the game like over some lava, it'll also just like spawn you under the void. That is also not a fun bug either, so you kind of got to be aware of this. Another one that you might not really realize is that fall damage on the Bedrock Edition is actually pretty much randomized. So if you jump off a tall tower and sometimes you die and sometimes you only take like 4 hearts, that is why the fall damage is randomized. So right now I have feather falling 4 boots on. This command block, teleports us 20 blocks up into the air. And if we just hop up here real quick, you'll see that this time we took 3.5 hearts. If we go up here again, this time we took 2.5. Falling down once more is 2.5, and sometimes it'll be like 4, like right now. So it's really quite very random, and there is absolutely no reason for this to be randomized. It is damage. If anything, damage needs to be extremely consistent. That time was 4.5 hearts. Like if you were in a PvP battle being chased and you fell down and took 4.5 hearts of damage, but your person chasing you only took 2.5, that would be an extreme unfair advantage to one player. So not really a fun time. Another one I know that a lot of you despise is items not stacking properly. So what we have over here is some cobblestone being smelted down in a furnace, and we also have a silk touch pickaxe to mine some stone with. And also I have a little bit of stone from the creative inventories. Curious what that'll do. Yeah, they don't stack. They just do not stack no matter what you do. Where did that, okay, inventory, what even is happening now? I think I broke the inventories entirely. Can I just back out of that? There we go. So yeah, the inventories are a little bit strange. As you can see though, we have 2 batches of stone that do not smelt. We can mine a little bit over here with this silk touch, and those are probably stacked to one of them, yeah. So interesting bugs that happen with silk touch and furnaces being weird, and honestly there's like a dozen or so different items you can find that don't stack together. For example, different kinds of meats like salmon and cod from furnaces won't stack with ones from previous updates. There's a lot of things that don't stack together, and honestly it's just kind of like really strange and kind of infuriating, because like, why do they not stack? There's nothing you can do about it. And also some of this stuff is not even tradable to villagers. It's like a completely different item. While we're on the topic of stone and stuff not stacking together, we also need to talk about the fact that most leaves don't actually stack together either. So as you can see, just by breaking a bunch of leaves with shears, so far we've only gotten one type of leaves. But if we break some of these guys with silk touch, you'll see that a bunch of these will start to not actually stack together. And sometimes you can get up to like 4 or 5 different unique stacks of leaves, which is really, really strange, and I don't quite understand it. Silk touch and shears are just like completely broken in general, and it's really weird. Yeah, look at that. We got 4 different stacks of leaves. None of these actually stack together, and they're all birch leaves. There's nothing you can do about this besides like throw the bad ones into a composter, or just like have a lot more inventory space. Super annoying. It's been around for absolutely ages. So while we're on the topic of completely infuriating inventory management issues, we have one bug with Pickblock that just constantly messes me up and ruins my groove. So as you guys know, if you Pickblock an item, it'll take the item from your inventory and put it onto your hotbar. So we can Pickblock this and boom, we got a barrel on our hotbar. It's extremely convenient for literally everything in the entire game. However, Pickblocking has one bug where it can actually take the tools or weapons from your hotbar and put them into your inventory. So for example, if we Pickblock this barrel while holding our pickaxe, and that is going to put the pickaxe into our inventory, and then you got to go back into your inventory, put it back on your hotbar, move things around, and it just really ruins your groove, especially if you're a player like me that always has like the first 5 slots as always your tools, always got your sword and your bow and your pickaxe and your axe just always lined up, and then you go to Pickblock something and those items get thrown all throughout your inventory, and it's just a complete mess, and it just ruins inventory management completely. So if we just like have that not take the tools off your hotbar, like on Java Edition, that would be awesome. This next one you might find either extremely annoying and kind of bothersome, or maybe kind of cool, depending on what player you are. However, all types of leather armor, every single type of color of leather armor will always appear to be white when on an armor stand, which is a little bit strange. It does look kind of nice, I guess, nice and clean. However, how did they not notice this? This was like the first thing that I noticed when I fired up the update, that all mobs were wearing white leather armor. You can also see this on mobs as well. As you can see, we got just some basic leather armor in there. We can dispense that on this skeleton. He looks nice and clean. We can also test that out on this zombie as well, and now he's got some nice and clean armor on. He's ready to go clean some things and be like a laboratory janitor or something. I have no idea, but he looks kind of cool. But yeah, it's still annoying because like the entire point of leather armor is to have all of these different colors, and now there's only one color ever. Another redstone related bug that you probably won't notice but is kind of a big deal is that barrels will of course transmit redstone power in all the different ways that you would expect them to. However, when you actually log out of the game and then log back in, or simply unload the chunks and reload them, all of these barrels are going to forget that they actually know how to conduct redstone power. You have to either move the barrel with a piston and then put it back, or otherwise break the barrel and then place it back down again for it to remember that it can transmit redstone power, which is really strange and quite actually bothersome, because barrels are actually excellent for redstone. These are an inventory that you can power with redstone, and it works just fine. You can take items out of them using hoppers, you can put items into them using hoppers. The only other inventory like it would be the furnaces. However, you can't really put that many items in here, and it doesn't quite work out how you would want it to. Of course, the droppers and dispensers also exist, but those guys actually like spit out their items, so it's not practical for a lot of uses. And these barrels are actually very unique when it comes to redstone, and it'd be very nice if these things actually properly worked. Another one having to do with inventory management is the Stonecutter actually deleting a whole bunch of items after you craft it. This has to do with shift clicking the items into your inventory. I've actually heard of a lot of different people having this issue. However, I've never been able to reproduce it myself. Maybe I just have no idea what I'm doing, which is likely the case. That is usually the case, let's be fair. But yeah, sometimes it'll just completely delete your items and you won't get the correct amount, and there's not really anything you can do about it besides just like click one at a time instead of shift clicking into your inventory. So keep your eyes out if you are losing items from your actual stonecutters. It might be due to this bug. This next one is extremely annoying, but I just remembered it today, and that has to do with map walls. So of course, everybody loves a nice map wall. It's a really cool area to get an overview of all kinds of different builds and projects. But of course, when you build one of these things on Bedrock Edition, you get the weird, stupid little borders right here. There's not really anything you can do about this. As you can see, they're still there even if you rotate it. You have to actually take the map off the wall, hold it in your inventory if the lag allows you, and then put it back on there. And then the border will go away until you relog. So you can kind of temporarily fix this, but there's not really much you can do. And even then, it's kind of a really painful process. So yeah, it's just like a small one, but it's been around for ages and ages and ages. There's also one more really annoying thing having to do with maps. It's an absolutely tiny thing, but if you go ahead and create a new map and let that fill in real quick, you'll notice at the left side of the map, there's like 2 or 3 pixels that don't get filled in until you go all the way to the left side. We gotta walk really slowly so you can actually see it happen. But yeah, there it was. It's literally like 1 or 2 pixels, and I notice it every single time I use a map. Those pixels just do not fill in for some reason, and I swear it's the most annoying thing in the world. Even though it's the tiniest thing in the world, it is just very, very strange. It's not like you're too far away for it to actually be filled in, because it's an entire vertical strip of the map as well, so it's kind of weird. This next one is something you guys in the comments have mentioned to me a lot, and that I've also noticed as well. If you just go ahead and do a little bit of a Riptide using a Riptide Trident, you'll see that the animations are a little bit strange. I'll slow that down for you so you can actually see what's happening, but it's just kind of like all over the place, and it's supposed to be kind of crazy to begin with, of course, but that's a little bit it is a little bit strange, you know, maybe a little bit overkill. Maybe they dialed that one up to 11 or something. I'm not saying that I hate it, I'm just saying maybe it's a little bit overkill. Because you kind of spin around just in a crazy fashion. I feel like this would make you extremely, extremely dizzy. So here we are in Java Edition 1.14.4 on my Patreon server to test out what the Riptide actually looks like over here. Just so you guys know, I'm not making up crazy things, but if we go ahead and Riptide, you can see that that is much more reasonable, a much, you know, cleaner and smoother animation than the absolute nonsense that is currently happening on the Bedrock platform. And honestly, I just gotta say, I actually really like the Riptide animation, especially with the Elytra. Like, it's just kind of like one of the coolest things in the game. And the Bedrock Edition, while it is crazy, is also kind of cool as well. What do you think about these weird, strange, small and annoying bugs on the Bedrock Edition? Let me know if a comment down below. And if you have any other small and annoying bugs you'd like to share with us, of course, leave that down in the comment section as well. And we might even make a part 3 of this video, because there's just so many small and annoying bugs in this game. We could probably make an entire series off of it. Oh wait, that's kind of what Bugrock is. Anyway, thank you all ever so much for watching. I do hope that you have enjoyed. If you have, of course, make sure to leave a like on the video, as that does help out the video and the channel significantly. If you're new here and you want to see more videos like this in the future, then be sure to subscribe, and I'll see all you guys down in the comment section and in the next one. Thank you so much again for watching, and then there was silence.